What's up, wizards and witches? Welcome back to the Timeless Gamer Show, where our games and our bodies may go out of date, but our gaming experiences will forever remain. It is timeless, people. Come on. And for all our old videos out there, you can still check them out by going to the timelessgamers.com website or just by going to the YouTube channel by searching a new Timeless Gamers Show. Or you can just listen to us talk. That's fine by just going to your favorite audio streaming platforms out there where you get your podcast. All right. So last week, previously on the Timeless Gamer Show, what the hell did we talk about?
Show and tell, glorified
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, I had a little event happening, so I couldn't make it. But you guys did a showcase on what you guys have collected so far in terms of video game memorabilia. So I
Oh
enjoyed
my
that.
god. Oh my god, like a glorified show and tell. So apologies to the audio listeners. So hopefully we were able to describe them as much as we could. All right. But hey, that only means that you should really watch the live shows, okay? For so hey, we would like to have this opportunity to give our a quick shout out to Streamyard and of course BitMap and of course uh, Shuffle Emporium and of course Sega Mega Masters podcast show. And hey, the Retro Gamers Collectors of the Philippines. Hey, they are going to have their mini retro market tomorrow, which is Sunday. You know where it is. That's the LRT North Mall, Level 3, from 10 p.m. until 7 p.m. Manila time. For all of you video game enthusiasts out there, collectors of old and new gaming stuff, go there. Tell them that tell them that the Thomas Gamer Show brought you there. They're not gonna give you any smack. They're not gonna give you any freebies, but just tell them we sent you there. So
Yeah.
for this,
Maybe someday.
Yeah, the most you'll get is a thumbs up. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool.
So for this episode, guys, Valentine's Day just over. I think it's still February 14 in some parts of the world. All right. So what better way to discuss February Valentine's Day by watching a date movie? In this case, we chose a video game related movie called The Wizard. Is it a romantic movie by any means? Nah, kind of. There were some
Slightly.
kissing.
Yeah.
There was some.
No,
There was some. There was some. There was some
That's a
creepy business.
responding now.
Well, if,
for a date.
well,
Even
if you
go
grew
on a
up,
date for this movie, she'll leave you.
well, if you grew up during that time and you watched this in the context of it, yes, you can actually
In
consider
context,
it
it is kind of a romantic film. Yes.
yes. It's a coming of age film. Yes.
I
This
I
film
did
doesn't
come.
even know what it
All right.
wants to be. That's the problem with this film. It doesn't even know what it wants to be, but we'll get to that later.
Yes,
We'll
exactly.
get to that later. Okay. Coming of age indeed. For the panel tonight, we got Sir JDM.
Hey guys, good morning and good evening wherever you are. Juan De Marcos of 123 Go Retro, and we're going to talk about The Wizard of Oz. I mean, The Wizard.
The wonderful wizard. The wonderful wizard.
Yes.
That's it.
There's somehow a
Wonderful
similarity, like a parallelism between those movies, but we'll talk about it later.
We'll talk about it later. All right. And of course, returning back to the show after for a while, we got Sir Viraj.
Hey, yeah, let's just get this over with. Yeah, I mean, there could have been better films we could have reviewed, but you can tell by this face, I'm not impressed. But we'll get to that later. But yeah, good to be back.
And of course, Sir Joel.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are. For tonight, we are going to be discussing The Wizard, the TV series from 1986. Oh, sorry, wrong, wrong topic. No, for those of you who are from my era, we used to watch a TV series called The Wizard, and we were severely disappointed that the Wizard movie had no relation to the Wizard TV series. But I digress. We are going to be talking about the movie, about how it was a fabulous movie. It was amazing, as you know, a great date movie, something that you guys are going to enjoy all throughout. I am the opposing viewpoint on this panel. All right, back to you, Joe.
All right, thank you for that, Sir Joe.
Fabulous
And
movie. Best movie ever seen.
Fabulous movie. And of course, the director of this movie review, we got Miss I.
Hi everyone, welcome to Timeless Gamers, and tonight we're gonna talk about the movie The Wizard. I'm not sure if any of you have seen it, but throw in your opinions down on the chats there. It's I wouldn't say I'm 100% a fan of the film, but I'm not 100% opposed to it. So maybe I'm in the middle. So I'm gonna referee the two if there's a fight that will happen later.
We're
All
going
right,
to
thank
weigh
you
it
for
in.
that, Miss I. Now, before we head to the festivities, we will go ahead with our show and tell, where we showcase and brag all of our stuff that that we accumulated for the last few days or so. So let's start with this person right here because I know he has a few. Sir Jose.
What?
Yeah, right into the deep end. First things first, step into the pool. Right.
Hot seat.
What are we doing? I don't know. I just got here.
Show and tell. That's what you get. Okay.
Yeah. So you get, go on, Charles, what you got? Put your camera in focus.
I don't know what's going on with it. It's having issues.
We're in focus. We're out now. Maybe you need some light in your room or something. I don't know.
Maybe. Hold
Yeah,
on.
for those of you who are on the audio podcast, Jose just joined us. We're very, very happy that he's here. And we just did our introductions. We are throwing him into the deep end of the pool right off the bat. Show and tell, Jose.
I don't have anything.
Digitals? You didn't get any digitals this week? Digitals count.
No, I did not buy any.
No, really? Okay,
No.
I'm surprised. Okay.
Nothing at all.
I guess it sucks to be poor then, doesn't it?
Achievement unlocked.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. You know, we just love bringing surprises here in the Timeless Gamer Show, and we're, you know, we're very happy that you survived your paddling, Jose. There you go.
All right. Okay. How about Sir Viraj? I know he has a few as well.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
All right, I got loads of stuff, but you guys haven't even seen it. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna remove my virtual background. Yeah, that way we can get a better look at the stuff that I have. Okay, because then it doesn't get out everywhere. No, it's a plain white wall behind me. Surprise, surprise. Okay, so I got this thing here. I suppose it matches the theme of what we're reviewing here, which is, you know, the film we're going to talk about is very much a Nintendo-centric, NES-centric film. Does anyone here know what this is meant to be a replica of? Anyone in our comment section? Anyone here on the board? What is this?
Well, I've always seen that on magazines, but I never really actually tried it out. It's a fighting joystick for the NES, something of the sort.
Right. So if you've ever seen the film Ghostbusters 2, it's the same thing they control the Statue of Liberty with when they have to take down Vigo, you know. But this is a replica of what was called the NES Advantage, and it's an Mio stick. Now the Mio has a Clovercon socket on there designed for the NES Mini. This is a NES Mini stick fundamentally, and it's lovely. Look at this. It's beautiful. It's clicky, so it's an analog stick. You got a nice throw to the buttons. You have turbo buttons as well here. So the benefit of this stick is, you know, when you're playing shoot 'em ups, you're doing this all the time. Shoot your gun. You can just press the turbo button; it'll do it for you. You know, and you can sort of adjust the frequency as well with these little dials. So yeah. So right, NES Advantage is what it was called. But yeah. Also, you have like the start and select buttons are here. So Move your finger out of the way, right? Yeah. So you can slow down as well. You can have a slow down, so slow the game down, so it's more forgiving. You have a button here that allows you to press the B and the A buttons at the same time for whatever reason. So if you're playing a game like Dragon Spirit, you can drop your bomb and shoot your dragonfly. So a nice sort of it's a dip because the NES had a lot of 8-bit arcade ports on there. This is like before Sega. Well, Sega had some great stuff too, but NES had a lot of the Monopoly, shall we say. So games like Galaga were on and Galaxian were on the NES or whatever. You could play. Like, this would be an ideal control for those sort of games. That being said, some people actually like playing with an analog stick over that square D-pad. I certainly do. I never liked the NES D-pad, I'll be honest. Or the NES controller, it was too uncomfortable. So I have that. And I also have, let me get this out, the equivalent of its successor.
It's the Famicom version of it.
Well, we call it Super Nintendo. It's only the Americans that had those pink buttons. We had like the Famicom colors here in Europe. For other reasons, because obviously the Americans wanted to have. Their Super Nintendo is completely different. I always call it the ugly Super Nintendo. The reason they designed their Super Nintendo a certain way, I'm sure I've mentioned it on the show before, is because people kept putting their drinks on top of their consoles. So on the NES, people would just put their drinks on top of it and they'd spill. And the biggest problems Nintendo America had is people spilling their drinks on their NESs. So the reason what they did is they just made a bumpy design on the American Super Nintendo, so it stopped people putting their drinks on it, and that's why they totally redesigned the Super Nintendo in America. So the color scheme itself, this is obviously, like I said, this is the Famicom colors, and again, similar thing. Again, you got auto turbo buttons here for Super Nintendo. Start select. Not obviously you don't have slow down, all these other features that it has. It's just rapid fire on and off, and that's basically it. And again, this is by Mio. It's designed so ASCI or ASCII. I can't remember how you say the company. They designed the original this, so this was actually a thing. This actually happened in the 90s, and this is like an arcade stick for Super Nintendo that exists. This again is for the minis. You also have in the box a USB adapter as well, so you can actually connect this into it, and it'll work on PC too, which is pretty cool. And you also have the ability to have, they give you a back top as well as a ball top. So I keep the ball top on because I like ball top, but some people prefer back tops. It's whatever you like in terms of gaming and how you want to play fighting games, etc. Some people prefer that. So there you go. So these are the two. I've had these for a while. I just want to show it to you guys to say this is an option for those who have the mini consoles and think, okay, I want more of an arcade experience. There you go. All right, back to you guys. I hope you enjoyed what I have to offer you to have a look at. It's something different, I guess. It's not usually the stuff that you'd expect.
All right.
There we go.
All right. Thank you for that, Sir Viraj, with his NES controllers. How about Sir Joel?
All right, so this week hasn't been very busy. One thing that I've been doing was reading a lot, actually, and I've been getting back into Atari. So one thing that went on sale that I really had my eye on, that I was looking at, that I got, was a game called Yars Rising. Sad to say, it was only on sale on the PS5, so I had to get that. The inferior console of this generation. So Yars Rising is the sequel developed by Atari to follow up on Yars, the old game that we featured. Yes, Yars Revenge, which is let me just double check that was it the Yar series, part of the Yar series. Yeah. And the thing about it is supposed to be a run and jump this time instead of a shoot 'em up. It does have mini games inside of it that has the old Yar's gameplay where you could guide a ship and shoot at a base. And of course, it was developed by the amazing Howard Scott Warshaw. You guys can check out his interview with the Timeless Gamer Show in one of our past episodes. We'd love to have him again in the near future. He can talk about his opinions on this game. He was not involved in the development of this one, but the fact that they are featuring an old property, which is Yars, I think is still something that can be attributed to his genius. So Yars Rising for the PS5, and because of the fact that I've been getting into Atari again recently, I bought Adventure, the book by Jamie Landino. It's part of his video game book series, and this one I've been reading. Adventure, the Atari 2600 at the dawn of console gaming, tells the story of how the Atari 2600 featured prominently in the advent of video gaming back then, during the time of pinball machines, arcade shoot ups where you could have arcades that in the mall that you wanted to bring home to the store. Atari did its very best to have the Atari 2600 bring that arcade experience back home. It wasn't always successful, and the book had very interesting perspectives on the life and times during that era. But yeah, it is a very good book series, and I look forward to reading all the other books in the that Jamie Landino produced about arcades and about PC gaming. But this one, Adventure, the Atari 2600 at the dawn of console gaming, you guys might want to check it out if you are at all interested in video gaming history, technology history too. Back to you, Joe.
All right, thank you for that, Sir Joel. How about Miss I?
Let me remove my virtual background first. Oh, there we go. So I've shared this on my Facebook and I think in our group chat as well. I bought a few games sometime around November from eBay because they aren't available here or they're quite expensive. So one of the reasons I bought a secondhand PS3 is, as you all know, well, at least everybody on the panel, is Red Dead Redemption. So I got the Game of the Year edition, which was like $8 when I got it on eBay. But when it's sold here on Shopee, it's around 2,500 pesos, Philippine pesos, which is, let's say, somewhere around $54 or almost 60. So there's quite a difference, huge difference in price. So I got this abroad instead. And then Sir Dan knows this game, or maybe some of you also, The Darkness, the first game. I got the second one on, I'm not sure if it was Humble Bundle, but or Epic. I got the first game for free on Steam, but this first game isn't available on PC. I think it's still a PlayStation 3 exclusive, if I'm not mistaken. It is a fun first person shoot. I'm not really sure it's a shooter because you use tentacles, if that's how you describe it, because he's some type of monster. I don't know. I don't want to call him monster, but that's how he is. And then this one is, Sergio already knows this, and some of you, Star Ocean: The Last Hope. I got this from Shopee on the 2-2 sale. I think just for around 400 pesos. I actually already have this on the computer, but I still want the physical copy because physical media rules. And also, last one, I know I've shown this before, Fight Night Round 3. The problem was the disc didn't work on my PlayStation 3. So what happened was I bought a just CD copy from eBay as well, just around $3. So the funny thing is, I got this from Shopee the first time around. This one is Peggy. The not working disc is a German copy for some reason. I'm not sure why. You can see the USK there. So this doesn't work on my console. And what I got on eBay is a US version. So this is quite a confusing set.
So somebody put the wrong region disc in the wrong box.
Yes.
So
I got a.
So no, it's actually a PAL. That's actually European. That's a European game because you can see on the box cover. That's actually the correct thing. Unfortunately, they've sent you the European version when you needed the NTSC. Well, I didn't use the word NTSC, but the American one, because the PS3 sadly is region locked. Stupid reason, but
Oh, is that why?
working.
Is that what happened?
They've sent you a European.
Oh.
Peggy means European, doesn't it? And you've got an American PlayStation 3. That's what's happened.
Because I think I also
Deutschland.
have other Peggy. I have other Peggy covers here, and they seem to have worked.
Oh,
It's just this one that did not, unfortunately. So
hmm.
UK, European, German, and US. This is quite a confusing box. So
Oh.
Your PS3 cannot understand German. It
it
seems
doesn't.
most likely.
So
I mean, the way we see it is we beat him in the war. So why should we understand them? You know what I mean?
Yeah, either that or your PS3 is Jewish. I don't know.
Oh my god.
There's also that. Yeah.
we didn't go
Oh, no.
there.
We're crossing that line.
Yeah, there's also
Right.
that, that it is the era of free speech, so we're allowed. Yeah.
The PlayStation is also allowed to choose, guys.
Mhm,
All right,
absolutely.
thank you for that, Miss I.
So that makes
How
me
about your
wonder.
GTM?
Cheap, though. Those are cheap. I'm surprised at how cheap those games are on PS3 now. I think if you're going to collect, PS3 is the one to collect for, because as soon as they close that shop down, all these physicals are going to go through the roof. Now's the right time to buy it.
Yeah, actually, now would be the time to start collecting PS3 and PS4. If you can find PS4 games for cheap,
Oh, you
now's
can.
the time to.
I think with PS4, you still got some time. PS3,
Yeah, you still have some time, but actually, that is now is exactly the time. Since you have a lot of time, you should go get it. Mm-hmm.
or you could just give me your money.
No,
Yeah.
no.
I'm cheap. I'm cheap.
It's cheap, yeah. Okay.
Okay,
So
so
did you
I
have?
have to say, I don't have any games to show, but I did buy this new capture card
Oh,
uh,
very cool.
cases.
Have you tried to give it a run already?
Yes, I bought this like 2 week. It came in 2 weeks ago. I bought a new one because the one that I had before is um it doesn't display 1080p 60 frames. So
Mm.
it's locked to 30 frames, but there are games that I would like to um like capture
Mhm.
in 60 frames. So I bought this one because
Mhm.
I'm planning to do some game reviews in the future, and this one is a good investment.
What
And
what
I'm
brand is
also
it, JDM? And just goes to show you don't need an Elgato or anything of the sort.
right,
Mhm.
right, yes, as long as you have the correct model, because this one is VC-005, because the other models are locked to 30 FPS, but it can
Mhm.
still um I think it can output at least 4K but only
Mhm.
30 FPS. But this specific model is 1080p 60 FPS. But the disadvantage is you can only display 1080p. You cannot like downscale to 720 or
Ah.
480.
Mhm.
No 720 and standard definition like 480p. So maybe if I use the old one that I have, see, I can see it. It can be downscaled to 720p and 480p, but it can't display 240p because I was planning to record DOS games before, but it
Nah.
doesn't show up. It shows out of range or something like that. So
Oh, okay.
it's a
Yeah,
bummer.
those games are so high fidelity that they can't be showed by any capture card. Understood. Yeah. This one though,
So
looks like it's gonna be good.
yeah.
Don't have to go
Oh
after Elgato or any of the big name brands. As long as it works, it works. Mhm.
yes. So if you want to get a cheap capture card, just look for this brand. I bought it for, let's see, I think 1,200 pesos. How much is that? Then I had some like vouchers and discount, so I got it for like a 900 pesos. Or
So that
and it has
comes up to about $25, 25 US dollars.
right, and
That's good.
then it has an HDMI in, obviously, and HDMI out if you would like to connect it to an external monitor or
Mhm.
TV. So you don't need to open your OBS or this
Nice.
capture software.
Nice.
You can just connect it here, and because if you take a look at the software, like the uh, capture software, there's a slight delay. So this pass through is better if you have if you would like to connect it directly to a TV or a monitor. So there won't be any delays or input lags or something like that. Get it, guys?
All right. Very cool.
Right. Thank you for that, Sir JDM. So, right now, let's go with the movie review. Extravaganza, Ganza, 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 Ganza. Let's go with Miss I. Go, go, go.
Up, Miss Eileen, you're on mute.
I'm sorry. And so I was saying, tonight we are going to review the movie The Wizard, which was in 1989. And just a simple or short gist of the movie. The plot or the movie starts off with a kid named Jimmy who was walking alone in the interstate, and he was not captured, but maybe helped or taken helped to be taken back to his family. He is a 9-year-old kid who suffers PTSD because I don't think this is a spoiler alert because this was mentioned already earlier on in the film. His twin sister has died, and that caused him maybe some trauma. Well, PTSD, of course, is trauma. And then he always carries a lunch box with him. Well, if you can see on the video for those who are watching, he has it earlier when he was walking, and he still has it there on his side while playing those blocks. So he has his mother, his two stepbrothers, and well, technically two stepfathers, because his mother is the second wife of the father, Bob Bridges. So Jimmy is about to be put into a home because his mother and new stepfather couldn't handle his wandering tendencies. He really tends to go away, and he always tends to say California, California. They do not understand what he means by that. So the younger of the two stepbrothers, Corey, played by Fred Savage. What he does is he takes his brother on a journey to California, and well, they give him a memorable road trip just so he couldn't be put in a home. And then on their trip, they meet a girl named Haley, who is there to help them go to California by winning games because she noticed that Jimmy has some, let's say, high acumen for video games. So she said or thought that maybe we could use Jimmy's skills so that we could win money, so we can have money to go to California. But then she also remembered this video Armageddon tournaments where they could win 50,000 sorry, $50,000. Sorry, $50,000, and she could get a percentage of the winnings. So that's the entire gist of the movie. So first of all, we could talk about what our likes or dislikes with the movie are. I'm gonna go first with, well, maybe in general what I liked in the movie. We were gonna talk later about the Easter eggs, but I enjoyed all the games that were featured because remember this was in the 1980s, and watching this movie in this era, what happens is more on the nostalgia side. So what would be happening is, if anybody knows, or just insert the Leonardo DiCaprio theme, you know, that pointing there with the wine and pointing on the screen. So that's, oh wait, but on the screen, by the way, that's Tobey Maguire on the left side for
Yep.
those watching our video. That's an uncredited
Appearance.
role of Toby.
Nice
It's not
mullet.
Spider-Man.
Remember, Tobey Maguire in a mullet. There you go.
Oh yeah. And speaking of Toby, another thing I liked here is the huge and familiar actors. So they were huge back then, and now they're seasoned veterans. So just like I said earlier, there's Fred Savage, then Christian Slater, Bo Bridges, and then Toby Maguire. And very quickly, two Friends actors. The stepfather here, Sam McMurray, that on the screen is Chandler's boss, the one who keeps spanking him. So, Sir Viraj, gay. That's okay.
That's gay? No.
And then Jim
I
Perry
love
is
this era of free speech. I absolutely love it. Okay.
and then there's Jim Perry. He's gonna appear later in the film, much later, and it's a very minor role. But he's Phoebe's diplomat boyfriend who can speak English. And what surprised me is that he has quite a list of video game voice work credits. I was surprised by this fact that I did not even know he worked in the video game industry. So he voiced Angelo Bront in Red Dead Redemption 2, Regis in Final Fantasy 15. I don't know how to pronounce. Is it Berger from God of War Ragnarok, Dying Light, Days Gone, and Call of Duty. He has many other roles, so that was amusing. And also another like of mine is the music of this era. Though I couldn't say I'm familiar with all the music that was played here, but I enjoyed the vibe of it. And shout out to my favorite among the tracks played was Bobby Brown, the Don't Be Cruel, because I'm a Bobby Brown and New Edition fan and E for Life. And then maybe I'm too forgiving when watching movies. But one dislike I have here is the actor of Lucas. I mean, all I could say is he needs more acting lessons back then because he couldn't even get angry properly. Like when the camera pans and closes up on him, he's like his face doesn't even change or show much emotion. We could see he is
Do it again.
a little.
Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. How was
What?
he acting?
It's like constipated that doesn't 50% constipated that doesn't even go there. I don't know how to describe it. It's like a facial grimace that is 25%
Constipated.
only.
Constipated, really.
Because compared to other, let's say, teenage
Fred Savage.
villains in other shows or movies, you can see their anger, they're more emotional, physical, but he has like a stern face that is not even threatening. It's like you can see what's gonna happen with your face, what's going on there. That's
Like
how it,
like you can tell that he's supposed to be angry, but he needed to enunciate more.
yes, that's a better way to put it.
So
He
he doesn't.
doesn't show it better.
So he doesn't have the William Zabka levels of villainy, then, Miss Eileen. Would you say? The Johnny Lawrence type of villainous look.
Unfortunately,
There you go. Okay.
he could do with acting. He has the face, maybe, but the acting is just not there, unfortunately. And judging from his IMDb, he hasn't acted in a long while. So there's that.
Yeah, the thing about it is, you can tell how well a guy acts if he does a villainous role. If he can do a villainous role really, really well, he's gonna make a lot of money. Like in Philippine cinema, if you have was it Belia Flores who constantly plays the villainous in movies. As long as you can play a good villain, you're never gonna run out of roles. Sad to say, this kid didn't have the chops for it. Oh well.
No, it's like I wasn't
The
sure. Is
bullies
it a
acted more
villain?
like the bullies acted better than him.
There's that.
True, true.
That's
That's a good
true.
point.
Yes. All
Well,
right.
he couldn't act
So
as a villain. but
Yeah,
he,
that's
but
it.
He became a villain in real
Yeah.
life.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no, what happened?
In 2004, he was sentenced to 10 years for child molestation and
Ah,
had to be registered as a sex
dang. Oh,
offender.
well.
Oh, and speaking of child molestation,
Oh, my
we'll talk,
goodness.
we'll talk more about that later too.
Okay. Fine.
So he's in the registry then, unfortunately. I
Oh,
suppose
well.
so.
Well.
So, who would like to go next? What are your likes or dislikes on the
Mhm.
movie? How about let's go to the main defender, Sir Joe. What are your likes and dislikes about the Wizard?
Defender.
Fine, fine, fine. As a defender of the movie, I do like it for the fact that as somebody who grew up in the 80s, this was emblematic of what an 80s movie is about. Sure, it came out at the very tail end of the 80s, 1989, and it was starting to touch into the 90s vibe of it, but it still had the 80s feel. The 80s feel of the movie was the fact that most of our movies back then were coming of age movies, going out having an adventure kind of movie, discovering what life was like in the real world type of movie. Things like Stand By Me, all the John Hughes movies and all that. All
The
of those were
Goonies.
all coming of age movies.
It.
Sorry, yeah, Joe, go ahead.
I mean, the Goonies.
The Goonies,
It.
absolutely. Yes, all of
Yeah.
those were coming of
Yeah.
age movies, going off on an adventure kind of thing. And this one is, I would say, part of that genre. It had all the tie-ins, all the commercials, everything. And sure, you guys will be cynically saying, "Ah, this is a huge commercial for something like the Power Glove or the NES or something." But when you look back at all the media of the 80s, all of them were commercials for stuff. And we loved it because of the fact that back then, we loved everything that was new and innovative and upcoming. We looked forward to all of these things. And of course, there will be criticism about how the plot is paper thin. Yeah, that's the thing about us 80s kids. We had imagination. You threw us a bone, we built an entire animal out of it. So the story might have been thin, but we added to it in our minds, and we kind of filled in all the spaces and the gaps in our heads. We didn't need all too much exposition, but we enjoyed what we were given. We were simple folk back then. So the Wizard movie, I would say it had a good mix of a feel good, coming of age, family drama, video game tie in commercial kind of movie. And yes, it the only thing that I can fault it for is the pacing. They didn't learn how to pace movies well back then just yet. Like like Joe said, whoever wrote the script wanted the entire thing in there, and it was filmed in its entirety without any cuts, without any edits, and that kind of made the pacing suffer. But yeah, with a proper edit, with making sure that all the parts that kind of dragged are taken out, this would be a much faster pace and much better experience for people who are looking at a glimpse of how the 80s was. Sure, it's not as exciting as one of the movies that we plan on discussing in the future, which is Pixels, which has the same format. But yes, this movie is good in the sense that if you want to look at how life was back then, much simpler, much more enjoyable. Sure, there was danger looking around the corner, but you knew how, you were taught how to deal with it or how to avoid it. And yeah, absolutely, it was focused on Nintendo because of the fact that they wanted to promote Super Mario Brothers 3, which was coming up, and everybody came to the movie house to watch it, to see Super Mario Brothers 3 and all the other Nintendo games that were being featured. I personally looked at the arcade games that they were showcasing. Whenever they were in the arcades, I was counting out the arcade machines that were in the background, finding out, oh, that's one. I played that one and everything. But yeah, I digress. The thing is, this one is a fun movie if you want nice family fun enjoyment for the night.
Ugh.
Sure, it might not keep the kids' attention, but at least it's not as what's the right word for it? It's not as out there as a lot of other modern family movies that you have to start explaining things to kids to. All right, this person did that because of this and everything like that. No, this was straightforward, fun, simple, pure enjoyment. So yeah, it's a good movie. Go watch it if you want a little bit of a nostalgia trip. Oh, New Kids on the Block soundtrack. There you go.
Yeah.
New kids on the block get a bunch of hits. Chinese food makes
Thank
music.
you, Sir Joe. Um, let's go to how about you, Sir JDM? What's your opinion on the movie, likes and dislikes?
I like the movie because it reminds me of my childhood friends. Back then, we used to not travel but walk
Be
around.
bullies.
Uh,
Be bullies.
no, actually, I'm the one. We're the ones who actually get bullied, like in the movie, and we go around. We It also depicts the children back in the 80s and the 90s. We are so hardy. We're like we can find ways
Yeah.
on how uh, we find ways we can sort everything out.
Hmm.
Just um, you just need to like think and watch for each other's backs,
Hmm.
and yeah, it also I can't say that it's uh, like a commercial for the NES, because I don't think they deliberately intended it to be a commercial or like advertisement for the NES, because it's been like what 4 years already since the NES came out and the Super Famicom, and then yeah, it's a nice touch of nostalgia for me. If maybe if I saw it like years earlier, then I would really enjoy it. But there are some things that um, that's confusing. Maybe because um, what I have a train of thought. It suddenly derailed.
Well, that's
Maybe it will
perfectly
come
fine.
back later. But
Mm,
but
yeah.
for me, it's a great movie. It's a great movie if you have seen it in your earlier years. But for me, um, it's fine because it's kind of late for me to have seen this movie, and I've seen a couple of similar movies like uh, let's see, yeah, The Goonies, It, and um, I think was it Super 8, like the 2010 movie. It's um it's about these kids in a town where this alien life form came to Earth, and then it's set on the 80s, so it's like an 80s film. So yeah, that's my opinion of The Wizard.
Thank you for that, Sir JDM. It was nice to know that it also touched on your childhood memories.
Yeah.
And how
But
about Sir Josh, since he is thinking quite deeply? Sir Josh?
Me.
Yes, Sir Josh.
Oh, me. Right. Okay. Uh, all right. Likes and dislikes. It all boils down to expectations, really. Uh, this movie came out of 1989. I was like 4 years old at the time when this movie was released. So if you tell the young me, like maybe like 8 years old, like for example, if I was 8 years old and you told me that this movie is coming out and the advertisement is like it's a movie about kids playing video games, I would have been hooked, right? I would have watched this if I was like 7 or 8 years old, and I could care less about the plot. All I'm there for was watching these video games being featured in the movie. I could care less about the characters or the screenplay and all that shit, right? And the more that I watched this earlier, the more I remembered the other movie that we did a review of 8-Bit Christmas. And I'm like, 8-Bit Christmas did it better in terms of encompassing the Nintendo product, but making sure there's a coherent story as well. What the hell happened with this movie is that it's like two movies in one, to me anyway. Like there's a dramatic side of things, and then there's the videos and then there's the video game side of things that they're trying to mash up together just so that it could work. And for and knowing what the original purpose of the movie was, and I said, did this movie serve its purpose? I would say yes. All right. For those people who are clamoring, to those people who already watched this movie and saying that, oh, this is just a blatant commercial for Nintendo, you goddamn right it is. It is. All right. However, that being said, if I'd still say watch 8-Bit Christmas. All right. If you are into the aspect of the NES, kids coming up with plans to get what they want. All right, the planning and the adventuring. Okay, the feeling of the 80s with a coherent story plot line that doesn't go way over its stretch in itself. All right. By comparison, that movie was better. So I cannot really say anything aside from the games. Really, what else? What else positive I can shoehorn in here? Uh, maybe in the maybe more in the Easter egg section. I'll be able to talk more about that. But anyway, that's for me for now.
Thank you, Sir Joe. And I'm gonna go with Sir Jose. I'm gonna save Sir Viraj for last, so he can cover everything that we said here. Sir Jose, what are your opinions on the movie?
See, I grew up watching this movie, so I really like this movie. It's like one of those movies that you watched as a kid, and it just stays with you through your whole life. And I think like one of the things I really liked was how like you see video games like in a movie or TV show, and you're like, oh, like what is that? What are they playing? Like, and it's just fun to see as a kid to see video games in movies and TVs shows. So that was like the main thing, and this thing was full of video games. So that was one of the things I really loved. And then same thing, Fred Savage. He's
Yes.
hot off the heels of the Wonder Years. Like he's first 2 seasons in, I think, and he's super popular. So it was fun to see him here as well as in the other show I like to watch. I don't know if there's
He is acting his ass off in this movie. I mean, like, the kid's pretty much carrying everyone in his back.
You better teach the villain's actor how to act.
You better teach the adults to act.
As far as things I didn't like, I don't know if there's anything I didn't like. Maybe they needed more video games.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's a good suggestion.
just a whole nother hour of nothing but video games.
Oh
There you
yeah,
go.
I go for that. Yeah,
So,
change the pacing of the slow parts into just video game showcases. Sounds
right.
great. I go for that. Yeah.
But
Thank you, Sir Jose. Oh, sorry.
oh no, that's it. That's it for me.
Thank you for sharing, and it's nice to hear from someone who has seen it alongside with the Wonder Years, because I bet that was a different experience. I didn't watch Wonder Years, although it was running on Philippine TV, but watching those, not exactly side by side, but in the same era, must have been amazing. And let's go to Sir Viraj, who I assume must have been seething from everything we just heard.
Vein popping up on his forehead already, right there.
Go, Sir Viraj, counter everything we said.
I don't understand how you guys could defend this piece of shit. I mean, it's a terrible film. I don't know what. Like, it's probably nostalgia, and you're probably looking at it through rose-tinted glasses of the 1980s. And fair enough, I get it. You know, it's got this, it has that, but like, God, like, I only watched this film 2 days ago. Okay, so I've got it fresh in my mind. So I'm watching it, and it starts off like this. I'll just narrate through it. For those who haven't seen it, this might be spoilers, but whatever. I'm just going to talk through it.
No, statute of limitations has expired. Go ahead, spoil away.
So I see some kid walking down some street on his own, right, in some desert highway. I'm thinking,
Utah.
and then some police officer like talks like, "Oh, I found him." There's a helicopter as well. They really send a chopper out for this kid. I mean, what's going on? Oh, we found him. He's here. And what's this kid done? What? They needed a chopper for it, and then they found him. Goes, okay, but this kid's still walking, and the police officer's trying to stop him. But what is this kid, retarded or something? Like, seriously, what's wrong with this kid? He's obviously got an autism about him. There's something wrong with this kid. They bring him home, and what I found really difficult, that the first 20 minutes of this film, what I found really difficult is like try and wonder what is wrong with who's related to who, because it's a broken family.
Yes.
It's a broken family, and you know you got Christian Slater's in it. The young Christian Slater's in this film, and that's his elder brother, I guess. And I think he was produced. I think he was like from another marriage. I can't remember who's related. Like, so you got.
I can tell you. I can tell you.
He's the dad. Okay, the dad is like is Bew Bridges, right? So he's the dad, and then there's like the woman left him for this other man, who's an absolute dickhead, by the way. But she left him for this other man. And then, like, she's just responsible for the youngest son, whereas the dad looks after the oldest son, and Fred Savage is character the middle brother, I'm guessing. And I think the middle brother really cares about the little brother, sort of thing. I think that's the vibe here. And he's like, no, you guys don't give a shit. Like, he's our boy, you know, and they're going to put him in a home. They're going to stick him in a home. No, how's he going to survive with that? And he says, no, we've got to do something. And the kid's like, the autist kid is like, California. Like, that's the only thing he says throughout this whole film.
California, ding, 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 California, California.
So anyway, yeah. So we're wondering where this kid is going.
In the city.
And then somehow throughout this film, like, he works out that his brother, like, even though they decide to go to California, he decides to go with his brother somewhere or whatever. They run away from home to go to California, whatever bullshit plot this is. It makes no sense, right? So then everyone's going, then they go looking out for it. So it's like some sort of road trip looking after the kids. And then the mother of this kid, he hires this child catcher. I call him the child catcher, this other guy, some other dickhead or whatever, to go look for his kid, yeah? And he goes to the kid's dad, listen, yeah, you punk. I need the money for this shit, yeah. So like, just take it. Like, let me look. Like, you just stay the fuck out of my business. I want to get some money. There's a little stupid rivalry that goes on between them two, looking for this kid, this son or whatever. And then there's like some bullshit bumper cars. They keep crashing each other's cars or some bullshit town. I don't know why. That's probably the most entertaining part of the movie for me. About how dumb they are. They crash and then wreck their cars or whatever. And then they work out like. Or like Fred Savage works out, he ain't got enough money to get the train to get to California. But then he has a few coins to play on an arcade machine. He works out his brother's really good at video games. That's what it works out. His brother's actually really, really good. And they hustle some people for money. They meet this chick, this ginger chick, you know, who's got red hair or whatever. Yeah, and you know, they forge like some sort of pact with her that, you know, she'll sort of help them take him to this tournament.
Which is bullshit. How the hell do you get 25,000 points out of Double Dragon after just by playing 5 minutes of it? What the hell was that? What Game Shark code was he using? Oh, I'm sorry. What Game Genie was he using at the time?
That's why he was called.
Come on, Joe, he's the wizard. Come on.
Yeah.
No. Within the confines of the rules of the game, that's just bull. Okay, fine, that's bull.
The brother beats the girl, and oh, this is good, or whatever. They play the arcade game against each other. They hustle her, and then they get the money. And no, I help you, and all this shit. And then the girl makes a pact with them, and then there's some hooligans they meet as well that steal their money, and all this sort of shit goes on. So they go through their trials and tribulations, but it just seems like, what are these kids doing for food? You know, they've been, and there's a line in the film where they've gone for like 8 days. You know, what are they doing? Like, how do they survive on their own? Like, I just found that really far fetched. Like, where are they staying? You know, it's really rough. And this is a very dusty film. There's dust everywhere. It's filthy. You know, like what's going on here? You know, it's like in the middle of some desert.
Obviously, Viraj has never visited Nevada. Okay.
I don't
Yeah, it was shot in Nevada.
Mhm.
listen, man. There's more dust in Nevada than there is in India, man. This is ridiculous.
Absolutely, yeah.
Place. I go back.
You guys underestimate how huge the U.S. is. There's large swaths of desert here. Yeah.
I'm like looking at this. I'm thinking, okay, fine. And then, you know, they're going, you know, they go on their way, and you know, they eventually get to California. That's the long story short. There's a lot of shit they go through to get there. And then eventually the parents will catch up. They're looking for the kids and all that. And then they get to this tournament. That's what the girl says. We get like 25 grand, whatever. What was it? Was the prize money? 550,000 or $25,000?
50,000 smackaroos. It's the blooms,
And,
clams,
and it's like,
Shimolians.
because it's like, and then on the way to the jail, I forgot, they meet this random dude with a mullet called Lucas the Doofus, yeah? And there's that goes on. I'm like, what's that? It's just random that this Lucas, there's no character development behind this Lucas dude. They just randomly find him. And then the little autistic kid sort of freaks out seeing Lucas with his power glove, like doing this shit or whatever, playing some game. I'm thinking, come on, man. And again, it's just, you see a bunch of video games.
Which is false advertising. Ain't no way the Power Glove was that effective.
Shit. I'm seeing the AVGN episodes of shit. And also, even the father and son, they stop at a motel, and apparently one of them has a NES with them. The son has a NES, and he's playing some Turtles game, and the dad then gets hooked to it, and then they're sharing a bed together, which is kind of gay. But then, you know, they
No. There was a reason for the gayness, but sure.
There's a reason they couldn't afford. Like the dad was cheap; he didn't want to buy like a hotel suite with two separate beds or whatever. They had to share a bed together, which is kind of gay. His dad was cheap, but I suppose they've got over it anyway. Grown men and mature men, they know they're going to see. So anyway, then you see the dad get like goofily hooked to it. You know, he's not even playing the game properly. He's like, I don't know what he's doing, but that's just a bad mimicry of playing a video game. I don't know what he'll do with that controller, but that's just shit. He's just pushing any old button. Again, he's not playing the video game. And you see all these little, like Mega Man 2 is featured in this. You got the Turtles game that's featured in this. You got Rad Racer that was featured in this.
Right.
So many games that were featured.
He was. I mean, the dad was playing the first stage of the Ninja Turtles game. Ain't no way you're moving your controller like this, like the way he does. Like, what the fuck are you doing there? It's just the first stage.
So it's a very crude advertisement and very crude product placement for these. So Konami and Capcom and Nintendo, they got all their games promoted in this thing. And then eventually, you get to the bit where, they get to the tournament, and then then they meet this. It's like, I think they put like clips of Universal Studio Rise in some King Kong ride, or whatever. They mix a few things out there, and then
That's correct.
they get in, and then they get to the tournament, and a lot of shit happens. It's just convoluted. Like that took too long. Like they could have shortened that. Just get to the tournament and beat this guy's ass. Don't try and act like then they got the child catcher coming after them or some shit, trying to catch them in there. That's like some big cliffhanger thing. Then eventually he wins or whatever. The tournament. He beats this Lucas dude. And Lucas was a bitch because he snitched on them. Okay, he was just, that's what you realize. Lucas was a bitch. But the story is so convoluted and so poorly put together. And it's so poorly shot as well. Like there's this bit where they're on this where they're running away from the trial catcher. And there's the bit where there's a little bug. There's just it's like a train buggy that they're in. And they're jumping over the chairs and trying to get through. I thought that was just a very poorly shot sequence because there's no sense of danger. The kid were like a car ahead of them. Like, what is this? Shown in the film? And I'm like, this is just boring. Like, I can't do this. This is absolute.
They needed a foot chase, and unfortunately, that's the thing that they came up with.
It's poorly because it's shot in. It's so confined in the space. Like, how far is this child capture from them? There's no sense of danger for the kids in that regard. And then they get in that little.
I mean, to serve Viraj's point, they could have. They're already at the Universal Studios. They could have chosen a better attraction to do the foot chase with.
I mean, look, it's dated Universal Studios now, but I mean, I think in the end they went to the tournament. The kid plays against Lucas, and it's like that's an interesting bit where he's playing Mario Brothers 3, and that's actually the main showpiece of this. And this is like pinnacle NES, isn't it? Mario Brothers 3, if we're being honest. That's like the NES game. You know, it's like the best NES game. People talk about Mario Brothers 3 like it's the best thing ever, and I get it. But you know, after he wins the tournament, then you understand why he was going California. It's because as a family they had a very happy memory, and he had a twin sister. That's another thing I forgot to mention, and that's sort of shoehorned in like throughout the story of his family, which is he had a twin sister and she died in the water, and he couldn't swim to save her. And that was the last memory that he had with her, was at this dinosaur place. And and he remembers on the way he stopped, and then they went there, and then they realized, oh, this is where this picture was taken. And he carries this tin box with him, and it has all the sister's memories. So there's the sentiment for it. But because it's so poorly told, you stop giving it, you're like, oh, right, this is what this was about, really? It's not, oh my God, all this crap they went through for this. Is this it? What, you know, and it's just silly. It's just a silly story. It's just a silly, really, really silly, poorly told story. And it is an advert for Nintendo, but you know, I just don't care. Like it's so dated as a film now. It's dated, it's aged really badly, and I'll tell you why it's been aged badly. The people here who like this film grew up with it or knew it at the time it came out, and that's why they're looking at it through nostalgia. But for anyone who hasn't seen this film, you're not missing anything, honestly. Unless you're a fan of Nintendo and want to see like how prolific Nintendo's advertising was, because this is a piece of marketing. That's what you're looking at. Unless you have an interest in marketing and really shit acting, yeah, or bad storytelling, then have a look at this. This is how you watch this film. But it's just such a bad film in terms of how it's told. And yes, it's filled with loads of video game Easter eggs from the 8-bit era. Okay, the characters are flat; they're two-dimensional. You don't care about any of them, to be honest. You know, and yes, video games were not organic. You know, it was forced into this. It was purely an advert. And the plot was it didn't serve the plot. Oh, it's just there. It's just there. That's what it is. Like, it doesn't even need to be there. I mean, the movie doesn't know what it wants to be. Is it a family film? Is it a film is it a coming of age story? I don't really know, because they're all a bunch of kids at the end. They haven't grown up from their experience. They've just gone on some sort of trip to try and help somebody. You know, the guy, okay, Fred Savage and the chick, there was some chemistry there, I think. Or I don't think so. It just seems a bit too fake, to be honest. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like a forced thing. Like he's putting his arm around her with this Lucas dude saying, "Nah, she's my girl. She's my girl." There's that bit. Like, what the hell? Where did that come from? There's no build up to that. What is he putting? You put your arm around a woman just randomly like that, you get slapped in real life. Right? Don't do that shit. Yeah, you know what I mean? It takes time for you to do that, and then you know after that that they have this little row or something, and then like, he goes, "Oh no, you know what?" And then she kisses him or whatever, and he gets slapped or whatever. I don't know. It's just stupid. It's just a stupid like forced romance. It's just dumb. So I just think it's just a dumb film, because it doesn't know whether it wants to be a kids romance thing. It doesn't know where it's going. It doesn't know what it wants to be, this film. As a result of it's just trying to force this video game plot point in there. The only thing that was mildly interesting, like I said, was the bumper cars. You know, when the guy was crashing into that child catcher thing. I thought that was interesting, where they're crashing the cars into each other. I thought, my God, this is so dumb. It's so dumb, it's hilarious. That's the only amusing part of the film that I found. But honestly, this film is like, I know it's got like a 6.1 out of 10 on IMDb. For me, it's a 4 out of 10. You know what I mean? That's how shit this film is. You know, and it's probably the worst video game tie-in film that I've seen in my life. I recently looked this up online, and in 2020, they launched a Blu-ray disc with all the deleted scenes that were taken out. So there's a Blu-ray of them talking about all the deleted scenes of what was meant to be in this film. But in my opinion, the film was too long as it is. It doesn't need more scenes. You know, maybe the scenes they took out would have probably been better than the narrative. I'd have to see them, but I can't be bothered. I don't care at this point, because the film was shit. And for anyone listening, just don't watch this film. Do yourself a favor. Watch something else. If you want if you want to watch a family film, watch Jumanji with Robin Williams. Okay, that's a great family film. Watch Flubber. That's a good family film. Yeah, anything with Robin Williams, you win. Mrs. Doubtfire is funnier than this. That's got more of a point to it. This film is just soulless Nintendo commercialism. That's it. That's what this is, and it's pointless. You want to play into this? You know about it. So anyway,
To those people who are watching and listening, we actually have a like bullet points to get through, like a show outline. And Serveraj managed to speed run through everything. So he doesn't really he doesn't really need to talk after this.
I went through
It's like, that's a show, guys.
That's the show, guys. Let's do our shameless plugs.
Honest
Hey,
review
we'll leave
from
that
Mr.
now.
Duran.
Well, I think that what was the one point I didn't mention was there any message the movie was trying to convey to audiences? You know, I don't know what the point, what message. Maybe you guys can fill me in. Maybe I missed something. You know, give the full retard kid a chance because maybe he's onto something. I don't know. I don't know what this film was about. I still don't know. I don't know if you guys can tell me, but I tell you what, I've gone through everything because I wanted to get it off my chest because this film is just. I'm trying to find something to like about it apart from the cars crashing into each other. That little stupid scene where they're like trying to, like, it's like the child catcher and the father of this kid beefing over who's going to catch the kid first is the most dumbest thing. I'm wondering, was the damage caused on those vehicles worth the reward money that child catcher was getting? That's how dumb and retarded I thought that was, and that's why I laughed at it. I thought it was just the dumbest scene in the whole film. Like, you just wrecked a car.
Let me tell you something, Viraj. If you have this kind of point of view about and this film in particular, The Wizard from the 80s,
Yeah.
I would kind of tell you to avoid movies from the 60s or 50s because those were generally about the same pacing, about the same style, about the same focus, actually. If you watch a movie called 40 Pounds of Trouble, with I completely forgot the definitely not Rock Hudson, you might find yourself, you know, your head exploding because of the fact that this film actually does kind of emulate the structure of 1950s and 1960s films. The pacing, the way that the story builds up, the way that it goes into its resolution. I would advise kind of avoiding 1950s and 1960s films. And it's kind of a commentary of how different your generation's point of view of what entertainment is, as opposed to a different generations which would be from the 80s. The addiction of your generation to dopamine hits is kind of detrimental to how the attention span that you guys have for movies. It has really killed it. Yeah, but
Well, maybe it's a case that we just have better. We've evolved from that, and we just have something better than
yeah,
that.
but then again, the fact is, you guys learned from everything that came before. You saw what worked and what didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there. That's basically you guys got the refined product already. Shall we say? You guys got the what's a good comparison for this? You guys already got the Red Dead Redemption, whereas we had Custer's Revenge. So something like that. It's like
General
An example, like you've all seen The Fly with the
Yes.
David Cronenberg film with what's his name?
Jeff
Jeff
Goldblum.
Goldblum.
Right, great film, right? But there was a fly before that, wasn't there? That was a remake. The one that the Cronenberg film was a remake. The original Fly is a different film.
Mm.
But again, like the Cronenberg one is like 10 times better than the original. Not that the original was a terrible film, but the pacing is quite slow. Same sort of thing, isn't it? So that's what I always compare like old to new. And I get what you're saying, but you know, in regards to The Wizard, this film was an indefensible piece of crap. You know, and there's nothing you can really do about that. I mean, I understand what you mean that this is shot in a certain way, but it's just an advert for Nintendo. It's just poorly done.
Well, that's the thing, Viraj. You have to see a film or a piece of media in the context of its era. You have to not judge it by modern standards.
Even by context, I'll say it's shit compared to a lot of 80s films.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, with back in the 80s, there was no such thing as the internet. There was no such thing as cell phones. There was no such thing as immediate gratification. So that's why you had to take what you could get and build on it. So you have to think of it in that context. But yeah,
I would agree to the extent of Sir Joel and Sir Viraj in this. If they just stuck with the dramatic aspect of it, okay, get rid of all. Let's just say they get rid all of the video game stuff, and they just focus on the family dynamics of it. All right, because according to the production note, this movie was supposed to be a 2 hour, 30 minutes film, and the majority that they had to cut out was about the family dynamics of the characters to each other, the family themselves,
Yeah, I think that
and
could
a
be
little bit
good
of
as
the history
well.
of and a little
I
bit
think
of the history of why they treat each other, why they talk to each other like this in the movie.
that's what
However,
it was. You're like wondering. It makes no sense
however,
to understand the family
mm,
because like who's related
yeah.
to who? That
So
wasn't explained
so
properly.
to Sir
So
Viraj's point, the only reason that I think this came out the way it did is because they wanted to make Nintendo wanted to make sure that okay, you approached us in making a movie that also showcasing our games and our NES. We have the final say. We could care less about the other aspects of the movie as long as you will treat our product, our brand with respect. So in that regard, Nintendo got what they wanted, which means the directors and the producers had to compromise the other side of the other facet of the movie, which is the the family dynamics, and them going to California. That's it, really. So
Well,
it really it kind of hurt the movie if a certain compromise between Nintendo and the showrunners to make a more cohesive storytelling in this regard. I mean, to Sir Joel's point, like I mentioned, they have the structure, sure, but the execution of it and the decisions and the inner workings of how it and which footage that they had to put in there and the footages that they had to cut out just to make sure that it's less than 90 minutes running total.
yeah. Also, another thing, if you wanted to focus purely on family dynamics, you go watch a movie called Ordinary People from 1980. It had a powerhouse cast like Donald Sutherland and Mary Tyler Moore and Timothy Hutton, but it was an utterly boring film. Honestly, it dragged like crazy. Like right in the middle of it, you think, "Why the hell am I watching this?" Whereas to a kid who was growing up in the '80s, they wanted to watch an adventure, coming of age, enjoyable film, and this delivered in spades. Sure, to the modern audience, this really didn't. This really doesn't click. But for somebody who was growing up during that time, Jose would agree with me, who saw this growing up. This is what your wish fulfillment fantasy was all about. Going off on an adventure, finding out that you have this amazing talent, extraordinary thing, and then accomplishing a goal that you set out to do. And at the end of it, you came away with life lessons. That's basically what an 80s film is all about.
but I
So
mean,
Jose might want to pitch in on this one. What do you think, Jose?
Yeah, like it's the like you said, it's like the recipe for an 80s movie. Friends, adventure, lessons learned. It's pure just 80s all the way through. Even looking back at it, like if you've never seen a movie in the 80s, this is like a perfect example to show like what an 80s movie is about. So it's I don't know what's wrong with Viraj.
Oh, we know what's wrong with Mirage, but we're just not we're too polite to say it anyway.
I don't want to say it, but I'll say it now. That poor autistic kid, they exploited him and they stole his money. Yeah, they won that. They pocketed that 25 grand and they did it on the back of that poor kid. So actually, there's an ethical question. In it,
That just goes to show, Viraj, the reality of it. All injustices, they don't always get redressed. In the end of it, your money gets stolen, you get beaten up. It was the 80s. It was realistic. You don't always get what you want. In the end of it, your money gets stolen, you get beat up, and you can't always get justice on the villains or the bullies. But yeah, it was a
You
wish fulfillment
can't
fantasy at the
always
very end of it.
get what you want.
Yeah,
listen,
it taught you
Why-
life lessons.
What you
what is the
want.
moral of the story? There is no moral. What you got a brother. You find out he's got a skill. You just use him and just steal his bloody money. That's what this
If
film
they,
is.
I mean, hey, if they just focus more on the gaming aspect of it, make a story about the gaming itself. I mean, to me, the one thing that didn't really work was the drama. Take away the drama and
Yeah,
just and then just come up with a story that centers more about the gaming itself. Yeah, and just take away the drama.
But the brother
You
didn't
know,
enjoy playing the video game. For him, it was a chore. For him, it was like, yeah, okay, I'll get the high score. It was not like he was getting any joy out of it. So you say it's a commercial for Nintendo, it's a pretty crap commercial. Because you're trying to say, okay, this guy's got a skill, he can do this, but he's not enjoying it. And Nintendo these days, they make games, and they're known to make games that you're supposed to enjoy. That's their thing. They're all about fun. Whereas this brother is just playing the game, and he's won. He's not even acting like, yeah, I won at the end of the tournament. It's like, okay, I won. Like it's not like he's got no emotions. This guy's crazy. Like this guy's got an
and where the hell did the prize money go?
You know
50
what?
grand.
Yeah,
They didn't mention where it went. What the-
You know what the moral is? You know what the moral of the movie is? You know what the moral of the movie is? Everybody had issues. And in the end of it, they had to work through all of it. They had to get a resolution as to how they all finished it. And the money, the girl got the money because of the fact that she wants to give it to her father so that they can buy their own home. That's why the trailer.
She said
Nothing.
That,
Okay, what Sir Joel mentioned that didn't happen in the movie.
Mhm.
The
No,
last
it
shot of the
doesn't
movie was just them going back to Utah.
exactly. It goes. It happens after
Nothing
the
was
movie.
nothing,
And
nothing
that's-
was resolved.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, they were
No.
just driving all the way back to going back to Utah.
It happens
That's
in your
it.
head after the movie. That's what
Yeah.
Oh,
happens.
well, come on. No.
Yeah.
Also,
Jimmy-
are they adopting the girl? Because she's also
No,
coming
they're not
back to
adopting
Utah with them.
No, they're not adopting the girl. The girl
Because
belongs.
why she with
Oh,
them?
She
Oh,
says
They
that.
will just drop her.
Okay, are we talking about the girl now? Can we talk
Yeah,
about the
They will
girl?
just drop her somewhere, and
they have to drop her off back at her house
In
and
the film.
trailer.
Which is where?
In
Reno.
Nevada. Yeah, that's true. Mhm. Oh, they were still in California then, right? They were
Yeah,
driving back.
They were driving back,
Yeah, they were driving back to.
so they just stopped by on the way
Yeah.
there.
exactly. Yeah, they're just gonna
So
stop.
who knows where? Maybe sell her off. I don't know.
Mhm. Well, yeah, there's that. Yeah.
12,500. She got 12 and a half at the winnings. She did say, look, we do 50-50, we take it now, I'll get half.
Mhm.
That's what's gonna
Yeah, I'm
happen.
sure they're gonna go 50-50 on it. Yeah. Mhm.
But
Ah, bullshit. The adults are there.
that
Oh, we're gonna use. Oh, yo, you know what? For all the trouble that you cost us, yeah, give us the $50,000.
50,000 back in the 80s was huge. That was big money back then. Mhm.
We'll use that as gas money back to Utah. God
Mm.
damn it.
and how about the bounty hunter?
Oh, the bounty hunter. Oh well, you know.
Coming after them.
worst
He was
character.
celebrating with them.
Punch him, man. He was a
Where was the resolution for the bounty hunter?
None.
Nothing.
In the end of it, she said
He was just
said-
there celebrating with the other kids.
remember she goes, she touched my breasts. And then
Yeah.
after she took them out, and then goes, she's got no breasts, you know.
No. The bounty hunter was the cardboard cartoon villain that we needed for the film. There needed to be a villain, and he served his purpose. And in the end of it, he got absolutely nothing for it. And that's
He got
that's his
beaten.
performance.
You
Yeah.
know, like, an
Well, he got
Arsenal-
beaten. Yeah, he got beaten up for it. Yeah. So, but then again, yeah,
Mhm.
that was justice. You know, he didn't get any money. He got his comeuppance. So that is how things resolved in that film.
Comeuppance? What?
Yeah.
What
He
comeuppance?
needs to earn some
Yeah, he
money.
got beaten up.
He needs to earn some money, man. I felt sorry for him because like,
The last scene that we seen him was celebrating with the kids.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true.
It.
Mm.
That's it. I mean, nothing
see
else
him.
was mentioned. Nothing else was
Never saw it,
shown
yeah.
or what happened to him. Most likely, he didn't get paid. Most likely.
Yeah, he didn't deliver.
Most likely.
Oh god, that's the worst.
Go ahead,
Miss
Miss Aileen.
Carl's red. You
Miss
see the-
Miss Eileen, what's your input on this?
I would say that it's a lot of things that we just talked about in a matter of minutes. Where do I even start?
Well,
well,
That's how we are. That's how we roll in Timeless Gamer Show. Go ahead, Miss Eileen. First thing that
So I
pops in
guess-
your mind.
I guess maybe I'm gonna jump to the topic of, do we think that if the video games were organically part of the movie, or was it like forced? For me, I think the video games felt like just a device for the main story of the family. Well, not the family, but the three kids going to California. And sometimes it's like the video games were shoehorned into different parts of the movie. Like out of nowhere on the road trip with the character of Christian Slater and Bob Bridges. Christian just suddenly brings out a NES with him. Like, where did that even come from? You know, like he said, I repaired this thing, and his father was surprised, and there was not even a background of that device that they have, and it's like a
I don't
portable.
know. Uh, there was an explanation for that. It was cut. it was cut.
Darn it!
It was cut off.
Now I want to get that Blu-ray so I could understand the film better.
It was cut off
Maybe it's
from the final from the theatrical release. Guys,
Because I've seen that.
I mean, whatever blank space that you're thinking, most likely it's been cut off.
It's too bad.
Go watch the Blu-ray.
I'm, I think in the future I'm gonna get the Blu-ray for sure because
Make sure you get the
sometimes.
correct Blu-ray though. There's two.
Oh, there's two.
Yeah, because I have the first one, and the first one has no extras at all.
What is the correct one? Is it the one with the 8-bit art?
Yeah, it's the one with the 8-bit art.
Okay, got it.
I have an advice to Miss Enslin. Don't get the German version.
Don't get the German release, okay?
Actually, might be an improvement. You like to hear him in German dub.
You know what? Would have been a more interesting movie. It was in German.
Oh dear. The fact that you own this piece of shit on Blu-ray makes me laugh, Jose, man. The fact that you decided to say, I'm going to own this film. I want
Dude,
this. I want to have a
the
physical.
80s was
I
still
I
was-
own the DVD and the VHS too.
There
Oh,
you go. See?
Hang on, you've got the VHS.
Now that's commitment right there.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think the only one I'm missing is the Laserdisc.
Oh, there you go. Everybody
Or
has
the
a favorite
vinyl.
film. Everybody
Or
has
the
a favorite
cassette.
film that they have to have in every physical media. In my case, it's
For the
Clue.
people
with
actually
Tim
buying
Curry.
this, yeah, there'll probably be a 4K remaster. I'll be surprised if this gets a 4K release. You know?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. The thing about it is everybody has a particular piece of film or media that they have to have in every format. In my case, it's Clue, the movie with Tim Curry.
Oh, yeah, but that's because you've got different endings in it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's that.
So
In
for
Jose's
me,
case, it's The Wizard. I'm absolutely sure everybody here has one.
I can understand Clue because there's a very attractive maid in that film. But
No,
that
there's
aside,
that. Yeah,
There is
absolutely. Colin Camp is the bomb, really.
okay, fair enough. We agree on that. But like, there's only two films that I've sort of like triple dipped on, which is Blade Runner, which I have on DVD,
Oh, Blade Runner's good. Yeah.
4K Blu-ray, and Superman the movie,
Oh, Superman, the movie, definitely. Yeah.
and that's Blu-ray, 4K, and DVD. I have so. I've got that, and maybe Jurassic Park as well. I think
Yeah.
so. That's obviously
Jurassic Park. Yeah. Well, I'd give it. I'd give you that one. It's good, in the big screen.
But this film's a piece of shit. How can you even think about buying it in the first place? And then think about, I have it on VHS, DVD, Blu-ray. Well, that's
Because it's part of you, Viraj. You have to remember this becomes part of people as they grow up. And yeah, sure, you can say that
really crap.
it's terrible. You can say that it's a terrible film, but
You can watch it once. Okay,
Mm.
fair enough. Yeah. But you want to watch this piece of shit again? California. I mean, what is this?
because it becomes part of you. Some people have Super Mario Brothers with John Leguizamo as their formative movie. Some people have The Wizard. Yeah. Mhm. There you go. Well, Miss Eileen, go ahead.
And if anybody still remembers Roger Ebert, the movie
Yes.
critic,
Mhm.
I guess we're all at that age that we still know him. He described the movie as a thinly disguised commercial for Nintendo video games and the Universal Studio Tour. I guess that is also part of the movie, and its message is by Nintendo. I
Mhm.
think so.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ebert is entitled to his own opinion, no matter how wrong it is. I've disagreed with him on many, many, many movie reviews. His takes are trash most of the time. Sometimes I do agree with him, but his points are that from an artist's point of view, this movie is terrible. And I agree with
Yeah.
him at least on that one. But as a part of pop culture and history, it is significant. And artists' vision aside, this formed a lot of childhood memories and fantasies about the Power Glove, and the things that can do. I would argue that that sequence of the Power Glove, his controlling Rad Racer using the Power Glove, influenced a lot of people right now into developing VR and how virtual reality is now. So sure, you can say it's crap, but the influence is undeniable. Because of the Power Glove, people got inspired to create things like virtual reality, which we have right now, which is amazing. Sure, it has not reached its potential yet, but it's there. I would not discount the movie as it is because of the fact that it is a solid piece of influence in pop culture. So that's my take. Go ahead, Miss Eileen.
And I think we've kind of mentioned most of the video game Easter eggs, but does anyone have anything more distinct from what we have mentioned so far? Anything that jumped out to
Here,
you?
the arcade. They were playing an F1 a racing game. They're called F1 Dream. They completely mislabeled. They completely mislabeled that one. I had to do research because I was looking at the arcade games, and instead of F1 Dream, which I knew was the game, it was not what they were playing. It was Top Speed. So that little, it wasn't so much an Easter egg as a little blooper, shall we say. I enjoyed that one. I enjoyed finding that video game, and I actually played it. It was a lot of fun, much like Rad Racer, but an arcade version. Joy, you said you had an Easter egg that you discovered.
Yes.
Oh no, we already talked about that.
Which one was it?
I don't know. It was just Toby Maguire. I don't know.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I don't know,
With
because
a mullet.
it was Toby Maguire.
Mm.
Because when that scene came up, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck? That's Toby. And yeah, so I did the math. I guess so I would, like I mentioned, I'm 4 years old at the time when this movie came out,
Mm.
and if this came out in 1989 and that's him,
Mm.
I'm so, oh god, Toby must be like what, 50?
Oh yeah.
Uh, around, I mean, right about now,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, if you've seen
So,
him in No Way Home, Spider-Man No Way Home,
Yeah, because
Far From
I recognize that mug anywhere. I mean, after watching Spider-Man No Way Home. So
Seabiscuit. If you've seen the film Seabiscuit, you'd recognize him. But yeah, in general, another Easter egg that I kind of enjoyed was the fact that and it's not so much an Easter egg as it is the feature of the Universal Studios or the Universal lot there. The rides and the shows and the things that they had back in the 80s, it was a pale comparison to Disney World or Disneyland back then. Of course, they probably couldn't get the money or the licensing for Disneyland back then. And besides, it was already done before in 40 Pounds of Trouble. But yeah, looking at how simple the entertainment was back then in Universal, like with Dracula and the Wolfman, or Frankenstein's monster walking around, King Kong, upending the ride and everything. Very simple, very very nostalgic. Back in the 80s, we had things much more. Mhm.
sorry to cut you off, guys, but Facebook already seized control of the stream
Really? Why?
for show. I'm guessing for showing clips of the Wizard. Oh, I'm sorry, Nintendo.
That fast.
So we're
That's a movie.
so Facebook took down our feed.
That's too bad. Oh well. So yeah, well,
Nintendo being Nintendo, guys.
Yeah.
Hashtag
Well,
FUFB.
And they like Jose says, and
As for JDM, could you please just share the link to the YouTube or the Twitch feed for those people? What the hell happened to the Facebook feed?
yeah, but we're still on audio. Where our audio is still ongoing.
Twitch and YouTube.
Yeah, and YouTube definitely. So, what part of the show outline do we have already, Miss Eileen? Show cap.
So, if there aren't any more video game Easter eggs, I would say opinions on the characters, but we've already discussed that.
We
Kind
didn't,
of.
talk, we didn't talk about the one character who didn't complain at all throughout the whole movie, even though they were dragged everywhere.
Mm.
It was the tree in the back of the truck. Even when they tore it apart, the tree's still
true,
there.
that's
The tree
And
was
then the
still
tree's
there.
like, the tree, they even took it back with them.
Oh my
We're on their way
goodness,
back
that's
home.
true.
No, there's no backstory regarding that tree. What the hell was
Right?
that
I'm
tree
like, why
doing
was
in
that
there?
tree there? That's the one thing I always wondered was why is that tree
I mean,
there?
from Utah to Nevada, that's still that the tree was still there. I mean, you would think the extra cargo would at least save them the gas.
The funniest thing, I mean, this is a comparison. Viraj, I saw a video on YouTube one time where it's one of the things that Europeans cannot grasp about Americans. It's there's if you've traveled for 4 hours in Europe, you reach 2 to 3 countries already if you drive straight through. Whereas if you travel 3 to 4 hours in a state in the United States, you haven't even left. Usually, you haven't even left the state yet. You haven't crossed over into a different state just yet. So it's one of the things that kind of that was funny about Jose's comment on the tree. The fact that the tree traveled from Nevada to California and back, likely it's almost a cross country trip. Think about it, yeah. And the tree was
Well,
just
they have the energy for it.
oh yeah, and it was
Still
getting a lot of sunlight there too. Anyway,
He was just in it for the ride.
He didn't even get to play any games.
Mm.
That's
Play
too
the
bad.
game.
Well, let's see. Characters.
Oh, how about say okay? So if we're going to talk about the characters, what's interesting to me was the kids in this movie talk like adults, while the adults mostly acted like kids. Like
Well,
like for example, okay, during the first scene where when Fred Savage, right? So the first scene when Fred Savage and who's the brother?
Christian Slater.
Christian. So it was Fred Savage and Christian Slater, right? So they're talking to their dad, which is played by Bo Bridges, and the way they talk to his dad, the way they talk to the dad, I'm like, I mean, maybe it's a cultural thing, okay? If you do that, if you talk like that inside a Filipino household, you're gonna
in Asian household, yeah.
we're gonna backhand slap you all the way.
Ah, it's that, man.
Bam! No, what the
Well,
fuck is
the
on
80s,
this?
yeah. Well, the 80s had this trend of parents trying to friendify their children, and thank goodness it left because I completely disagree with it. You are not your child's friend. You are your child's parent. You are supposed to guide your child in the proper ways, and thank goodness that left. It's one of the trends of the 80s that I completely disagreed with. Mhm.
And then as the story progressed along, and I kind of understood why he was being like that, why he's being such a I'm not gonna say submissive,
Mhm.
uh, more of a beta male in front of
Mm.
his kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, why is he taking so much attitude from these kids? And as when more exposition was explained in the middle, during the middle of the movie, okay, sure, but because they had to cut a lot of things in regards with the nuclear family dynamic, all you're doing in your mind is just piecing just piecing each one together. You're just second guessing, and you're trying to come up with an excuse why they're talking the way they are talking and doing to each other. Especially acting wise with Fred Savage. Hey, you know what? I have nothing to say. I mean, at this point, he's the most professional actor in this movie. All right. I mean, and of course, due respect to Bo Bridges, of course, and uh, and in regards with the who else in here? Oh, the announcer. You know what? The announcer for the video Armageddon. I don't know, but I have this feeling that he had 3 lines of cocaine when he did that.
I loved his energy, man. I loved his
I
energy.
love his energy, like he's hyping everything up. And
I aspire to be as
yeah,
good of
right.
an announcer as he is.
Even when Jimmy's appearance was being delayed, he was still hyper.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
the third, the
that's the kind
third
of energy that I
interception.
need. That's exactly what I need on a day-to-day basis. Yeah,
And and especially with the girl, right? Which, who's the girl here?
Haley,
Haley.
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 Hmm.
So with Haley being played by Jenna Lewis, okay, and she also has this ability too. Like to my understanding, is she's able to count cards. Either she's good at mathematics, or she has an eidetic memory. All right,
She could.
basically, yeah, yeah, because so Jimmy is the wizard. Sure, he's
Mhm.
good at video games. Haley, Haley's good at is good with mathematical manipulation. Sure, Fred Savage. I mean, uh, he's I mean, between the three of them, he's the normal guy.
Yeah, actually, he's the heart of the film, shall we say?
He's the heart of the film,
Mhm.
and the other two is pretty much mutants compared to him.
Pretty much, yeah.
And the only reason why the only reason why they survived this far, and to be honest, they're quite lucky.
Mm.
From Utah all the way to California, I mean, they got there in one piece.
Yeah.
I mean, say what you will about how they. I mean, say what you will about how they were eating, because they're betting on Jimmy to win bets. I don't know, playing against other kids or other adults, right? And except for that one instance when they were robbed by by one of the truckers that because across country
Yeah.
hitchhiking hitchhiking move here
But they also
California was.
they also
They
one
were
of
they
those
were really lucky. I mean,
three
things could have gone really, really wrong, right? From Utah all the way to California, you would think that they will not reach there alive or or safe.
That would be a
Well,
different film. Anyway, Viraj, you were about to say.
So they got robbed twice, not only from those farmers or the
Yeah.
big people.
Yeah.
Remember there was those three punks, yeah, and they
Yeah.
hustled them,
Yeah,
beat
that's
them,
right. That's right. Yeah.
and they caught up with them, and then they beat the shit out of that kid. Fred Savage got beaten for saying something, and they just took the money from them, and they said, "Oh, this is interest," and they took the money. They just took all their money, and that was it.
And
So
that's
abused, man. They got terrorized as well. So
yeah, that just goes to show again, danger was lurking around every corner. And Joe says that they got really lucky. And we were realistic enough to acknowledge that in the 80s, that there's still danger, definitely, even no matter what happens. And you just and justice is almost never really achieved anyway. They never got their money back. They never got to beat the bad guys back up.
Well, hang about. There was
That's
this
what you get for running away from home.
Mhm.
But one of the punks, they caught him with the cap. Remember they stole his cap?
Mhm.
They stole his cap, and
Yeah.
they were in the
Oh,
restaurant. Or something,
and you know what?
Yeah.
What I what I like about this was
Mm.
there was no end game once they reached California. Like Fred Savage was like so very adamant to take Jimmy all the way to California, and I'm like, okay, and then what? What's the plan? Okay,
Well,
you go to California.
they
Any
didn't-
specific? I mean, any specific place in California, my man? No.
No. In the end of it was they were all relying on Jimmy to really tell them in a way. Maybe Fred Savage was counting on the fact that once Jimmy reached California, it would trigger him to say something.
You were going to say something.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of Jimmy, it was never really explained that why he likes stacking up
There's also that.
blocks. And
Yeah.
I'm like, at first I thought, oh, maybe they're doing Tetris in this.
Mhm.
Tetris was never really was never even featured in this film. I'm like, oh, and I'm like, why? Oh, then why else would you even include that scene? Him stacking up bricks all the time.
Maybe Jose will be able to enlighten us on this one. Jose, was it ever mentioned as to what the purpose of Jimmy stacking stuff up was? I seem to recall the therapist saying something in the early part of the film.
I don't know if it says in the movie, but Isn't that like a like something that autistic kids do?
Something
They,
like
like
that.
build.
Like the
I mean,
build thing.
in his age, really?
I don't know.
Mhm.
But wouldn't it be funny if they got to California and then Jimmy will all of a sudden was like, instead of California, he was like Utah. Like he
Yeah.
wants to go back.
Now he wants to go back home.
You know what? One thing in the film, there's a trick that Nintendo missed, which is they didn't feature their Game Boy in it. If you're going on a long trip, why didn't one of the kids have a Game Boy to play on the way? They missed out on the product placement there. Dumb bitches. I could have made the film better than this. I could have done a better job than them. But
I
no.
mean, nothing's stopping you, Viraj. You can make a remake or a brand new version of it.
no.
Then we'll make a review.
Nowadays, at this time,
I could probably make, you know what, there's a lot I could do, but there's a better use of my time. Better use of my time than that.
yeah.
I
those
think
who- those
I
who
think I
cannot
remember the.
Those who cannot do criticize. Anyway,
Wasn't this before the Game Boy though? Wasn't
Because
this-
I think I remember. I
wasn't this-
remember when they were seeing the therapist.
hmm,
The therapist says that it is something had to do with him finding an output, an output to express himself more in a way. So that's why he's doing the stacking. And I'm like, okay, sure, I get that. As a healthcare professional, I get that. You need a certain output to concentrate your attention into. Okay, but they didn't really address that part. So what I'm thinking is that the message here, I mean, part of the messaging was Jimmy just needs something to distract himself through all of the guilt and the regret that he has to deal with his PTSD. All of that wasted concentration. He's just channeling it all into something constructive, as simple as stacking up bricks, stacking up boxes or blocks, ergo video games, because there's nothing else for him to do. I mean, if that makes sense, you guys know, what I mean?
Well, he's
Yeah.
he's autistic, and his mind isn't like normal people as well, in terms of the way it thinks. So, of course, they think in a very compartmentalized manner, some autistic people. I think that's what happened with him. And obviously, there's a level of trauma as well. He's lost his sister, and he still isn't sort of over that. And you discover that at the end of the film. And going to California was a form of catharsis for him. It was something it was a way of healing. The video games was just an avenue he could sort of focus his mind on, which is why he was very good at it. And that's why he was the wizard. That's what it's about. But I didn't think it was that remarkable personally as a story. But I just think it's just poorly told, like I said. Anyway,
You know what's funny? Okay, we're talking about him being the wizard, right? They said something about when they were playing Ninja Gaiden, right?
Hmm.
I mean, he's already playing. He's been playing Ninja Gaiden all this time, and he hasn't get hit yet. I mean, motherfucker, I mean, okay, sure. I mean, he's the wizard, but not getting hit at all in
Even if
Ninja
you have-
Gaiden 1
Even if you
NES.
have
no, that's not. It's not that hard. You can not get hit in Ninja Gaiden. You can actually be that good. You're just really shit.
Maybe-
I can't probably get hit. You're just shit. You can actually not get hit in Ninja Gaiden. It's possible. It can happen. Just because you're shit, don't think that like.
okay,
no,
so plausibility, sure. 25,000 points during the first 5 minutes of Double Dragon. Explain that shit.
I'm not talking about Double Dragon. I'm about Ninja Gaiden here. I don't know why you have to change the subject. Why don't you just admit you're shit at Ninja Gaiden? That's what we've discovered here. That you can't go through.
No. We were talking about the possibility of him playing video, him being that good. Okay.
I think obviously they're
I mean,
exaggerating.
you're coming up with an excuse for Ninja Gaiden. Okay, fine. I'll give that to you. Explain now. Explain the high score that he got playing
High
5 minutes
score.
of Double Dragon.
So let me explain that. The high score is fictional and it's there for narrative to show how good he is. Obviously, it's just there. I mean, how many people have played Double Dragon to really know you can't get 25,000 points on the first whatever bit? No one gives a shit. The whole point is the narrative is he can actually get a high score and he's really good. That's what he's trying to tell you. Why are you looking too much into this shit?
No, I'm looking into this
Yeah.
because I am focusing my PTSD onto this.
There you
What
go.
we've discovered here is that you're shit at Ninja Gaiden. And that's what we've discovered.
Raj's takeaway is that you're crap at Ninja Gaiden, then, John.
Man, like if you're that crap at ninja games, I'm sorry, man. That new Shinobi looks good, by the way. That's coming out. I saw the video.
And we have a comment here from Eric Wahlberg on YouTube. Raj is the wizard. There you go.
See, if you actually, you know what, one thing I because I'm above this sort of stuff. I know a lot of you guys like to stream your video games and stuff. I'd do it, but to be honest, I've got better things to do.
Mhm.
But if I used to, man, I'd like you. Like you'd be like, oh my god, Raj is the wizard. Like the man, but look at the way he's getting through this video game. Oh my god, he ain't even. He's playing Super Hang On. He ain't fallen off his bike yet. What's going on? That's how good I am, man. Zero. Like, because the way I used to play video games when I was a kid, and I'll tell you what it is, and you can think, oh my god, really? That's how far he went. If I got hit once in Sonic and I lost all my rings, or if I didn't get all the Chaos Emeralds before a certain level, I'd turn the Mega Drive off, start from the beginning. Because that's not good enough. If it's not perfect, it's not good. That's unacceptable. That's mediocre. That's Nintendo levels. You know, and to be this good takes ages, like my tagline says, yeah? You have to be the best. And that's what it is to be a Sega man. That's what some of these Nintendo people will never understand.
Raj says, I want to be the very best, like no one ever was.
Anyway.
Anyway.
I don't know, what's the point? What's the point? There's me holding a Nintendo cushion.
There you go. All right. We're nearing the 2-hour mark. It might be time, like Miss Eileen says, to what do you say we should do, Miss Eileen, show captain?
So maybe we should hit commercials first before we go to the end topic and bullet point before our shameless plugs.
Sounds like a good idea. Sure. Put us into it.
Start your own online live streams, webinars, podcasts, online classes, and virtual presentations with Streamyard. By using Streamyard's user-friendly interface, you can also do simultaneous multi-streaming if you have accounts to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and other platforms. If live streaming is not your style, video and audio recordings are also available, especially with those who have variable and inconsistent internet connections. The finished output will still come out as clear and well articulated exactly as you originally intended. You can also customize the appearance of your presentation, like green screen effects, facial touch-ups to smoothen out those facial blemishes, multiple cameras for multiple guests joining in the discussion, your own wallpaper on the background, adding your own logo as a watermark, sharing videos from your own computer or other website for added visual aids with or without audio, uploading your own background music if you wish to set the mood when talking, and lots more. Before you can enjoy all of the wonderful full features of StreamYard, you can start with a 14-day free trial by using our link. Not only that you are supporting the Timeless Gamer Show, but you can see it for yourself how easy it is using StreamYard. Do you like playing video games? Do you like reading about history? Do you like learning about video game history? Then you should give yourself the gift of owning some video game history books from BitMap. Since 2014, BitMap Books have published numerous colorful and well-detailed hardbound books about video games ranging from the different video game consoles of old and the various video game genres that will surely pique the interest of its core fanbase. BitMap's team of global video game journalists, players, and illustrators have produced numerous award-winning titles that celebrate the software, hardware, and developers that laid down the foundations for the billion-dollar video game industry we all know and love today. International shipping is also available with careful and considerate packaging from BitMap Books. If you don't want to take my word for it, then you can believe the people, almost 10,000 satisfied customers who submitted their glowing written reviews and video reviews after receiving their books from BitMap. By ordering your first BitMap book using our link, You will also be supporting the Timeless Gamers Show in spreading our love of video games and their rich history.
All right. BitMap Books also has a brand new book out. It's called The Games of a Lifetime. It's by Julian Jazz Rignall, and it has 420 pages of color, photographs, and descriptions of games that he experienced from the beginning of his gaming journey all the way to today. I personally am looking forward to it. BitMap Books, you guys rock. Anyway,
I mean, they're very good because I when I go to the gaming markets here in the UK, they sponsor those events too. They're everywhere.
Mhm.
And I don't like reading, but I like looking at the pretty.
We can tell. Anyway.
If you for those people who can't be bothered to read copious amounts of text, these are books that show the lovely illustrations and pixel arts of these video games history. You can actually see, where things have evolved and what the developer did as well. There's an annotation there that draws you to it. So not only is it very well presented, it's very well narrated in these novels as well, as these sort of graphical novels that they show. So they're definitely worth checking out, and you might want them. So they're just, if you're going to get it, go for it. But go on back.
Absolutely. All right, Miss Eileen, show captain, what now?
So final points on the movie. Well, final points is, what do you think, or was there actually any message that the movie was trying to convey? So for me, I think, as we see in the movie, families come in different forms. So I'm on the side of the drama of the movie. And no matter what type of family you have, or there can be genuine love between the family members. So like Sir Vraj earlier, he said that it was really confusing who was actually blood related to who. But at the end, everybody just kind of meshed together as a whole family. And it's like there was resolution of some sort with when the mother said, "Take home our boys." And so they all went their separate ways, but they were all like consent and no longer fighting like we saw them at the therapist's
We
room.
didn't know that. We didn't know that. Maybe they still did. When-
They were fighting there. But at least in the end, we had the satisfaction of seeing a quote unquote happy ending, I suppose. And also, video games can be enjoyed by everybody because, like Sir Rich said earlier, the father was playing the NES while they were on the road trip. And although it was like ridiculously so animated on the first level, like Sir Just, it's like the fun, right?
No, the
It's like,
fact of the matter is the actors, Bo Bridges and Christian Slater, were not video gamers when they started this movie. After they finished it and they played a bit of the NES, they started enjoying it. So yeah,
I mean,
Right.
it shows really that's actually a really interesting, wholesome moment in the film where you see them like he's playing this video game. And Dad's like, "What, you're playing this video game? You're playing this?" And then his father saw him play it, and he started playing it. And I had a similar memory of that in my life, where even though my father and I were playing Mega Drive together, but when PlayStation came out, my father sort of stepped back from video games. When he saw me playing Gran Turismo, I said, "Come on, Dad, you're really going to play? Come on, give us a go." And he had some time off of work. I get home from school and I see him playing Gran Turismo. So that can happen, that is a thing. Your parents and kids can bond through video games, and I think that's a subtle bit of
go
messaging.
Virage's dad. Yeah.
If you
amazing.
met my dad, I don't talk about him enough, to be honest. And there's something so Dan knows about this. My dad was actually a pioneer in a retail company that brought the Mega Drive and Super Nintendo to households, and he'd go to all sorts of meetings and stuff to try and get more stock in for the shops to sell because he saw the future in this, and he could see that there was a lot of money in this stuff, and he was very much a fanatic of Sega Mega Drive, and that's why I got into it. So I think with this film, the parallel with that is I suppose that's an enjoyable moment as well because it reminds me of the relationship of my father. Not that we ever shared a bed in a hotel because that's gay, but we played the video games and we had some fun. That's what we did. It shows like how they took turns playing the game. And my earliest and fondest memories was playing Golden Axe and World of Illusion on the Mega Drive, playing 2-player with my father, and he got me into this. And I think my father understood that technology is very important for kids to understand technology and get to grips with it through video games and computers, because he worked in technology then. So And he was there at those early days, and it's because of people like my father working in the industry. And I'm very proud of my father for the achievements that he did, even though he didn't earn as much as I do now. It's because of him and the struggles he's had, but because he was, a pioneer in terms of bringing the product to the masses. I take a great deal of pride in that. So yeah, just want to throw that in there as well. So yeah, video games and bonding with family. I think that's the theme of this film, and that was the narrative of the early 90s as well, because as the 16-bit era dawned, there's a lot more of that happened. Anyway,
That is wonderful. Thank you for sharing that, Sir Viraj. And let me see. How about Sir Jose? What do you think is the message of the movie, if it was trying to convey any at all?
I think what the hell?
At all, if any.
At
There's,
all.
Video games fix everything. There's one. And then retroactively, you could add in the importance of mental health, because they just assumed Jimmy was too far gone, and they were just like, let's have him committed, and they didn't even like try to understand what was going on in his mind or what was really happening with him. And then probably the most important one is fuck them kids. They don't need any money because they got robbed like 3 times. And they probably got robbed at the end of the movie by their parents.
Yeah, fuck them kids.
Then they ditched them. The roadside.
That comment, oh my god.
and he lives to cuss me.
Somebody read it.
This is it. Then what happened to you? So I took level.
You know what? You know what happened to him? Because he refused to spoon with his father because it's gay, apparently.
There you go. That's it. That's exactly what happened. Yeah.
He was not
Eric-
able to absorb the amazing awesomeness of his dad because he refused to sleep beside him.
So Eric Wahlberg also has this comment on YouTube, which is kind of in line with what I did earlier. I thought this episode was about a Michael Jackson movie, so disappointed. Yeah, that was The Wiz. That was The Wiz, if I recall correctly, Eric. And I was talking about the Wizard TV series back in 1986. If you watched that one, that was a pretty good one, actually. So yeah, my takeaway from the movie is everybody's got issues. It's a typical 80s thing. We don't acknowledge that as much anymore. Yeah, sure, we do focus on issues, but not necessarily the right ones. And at the end of it, the message was correct. We all have to come together to fix it, and it's the journey as much as it is the destination that matters a lot. And things do happen that you have to adjust to. You just got to cope with it. You just got to rise above it, be strong enough to get better. And yeah, at the end of it, family is what matters the most. And that's my takeaway.
Okay.
How about you, Sir GDM? Or do we jump to Sir Joe who can't contain his laughter? What is happening?
Yeah, go for Joe. I'd say go for Joe.
Sir Joe, what is happening?
What are you laughing about?
I just remembered something.
I mean,
No, go. Okay, there we go.
head too, but go on. He's a bit unhinged today, Joe. What's going on?
Fine. Joe needs a moment to recover. JDM, go first.
Forget them. Go.
For me, so we're talking about mental issues and family. For me, I think this is a lesson for every kid right now, like the alphas and the Gen Zs. My advice: go out, explore the
Touch
world, not just touch grass.
Touch grass.
Right? Touch grass. So it's not all about the internet.
Touch Nevada
and-
grass.
Are there any grass in Nevada? Anyways,
It's not in the desert.
That's what we have.
Touch
Some California grass.
Maybe there's cacti in Nevada.
No, but JDM is a good point.
Yeah.
Experience real life. Go experience real life and not just be permanently online, because
Yeah.
there's lots
I
to
agree.
Mhm.
I agree with what you're saying, because there's a kid who lives 3 doors down to me, and he likes to talk to me about video games. He's actually a Generation Alpha, this kid, And him and his dad, I meet them outside. I live in a very close knit neighborhood, and they know I go to these gaming markets. I'm into games and stuff like this. And he goes, "No, man, I like playing these video games because real life sucks." That's what he said to me. I looked at him. I thought, "No, life is what you make of it, kid. It doesn't suck. It's as good as you want to make it, because you have choices in this country, in the Western world where we live, in the United Kingdom, in America. We live in a free world here. Yeah, you have so many opportunities here. Life doesn't have to suck." That's what I said to him. So, go out there and make a difference. And this film, Fred Savage's character has a lot of heart in this film. He wanted to make a difference for his brother. He wanted to save his brother from being condemned into some asylum. So he didn't want his brother's life to suck because he had a heart. And so I think the important message in this film is, have a heart. Not just touch grass, but do something about the injustice that was happening. So I think that's a tough thing. What's that, Eric? You're saying real life is for people who can't handle video games. Get out of here, man.
No, the thing about real life as compared to video games is the graphics are amazing. The storyline just sucks sometimes. Anyway, continue.
So, I know we all know about Eric. He likes to dress up in fantasy and cosplay.
Well, there's that too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He likes to being, some knight character.
All right, I think Joe has recovered enough. Let's see what his take is. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I just remembered. Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't the Nintendo Power consultant phone line? It was a 1-800 number, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Around that time, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So basically, you need to pay for that shit every time you make a call, right?
They made a lot of money doing that. Nintendo. They made a shit ton of money from that Nintendo helpline.
Yeah. Because at this time they were already in the movie, they already got kicked out for because they're kids betting on the adults, right? So what I'm getting at was, so Haley was calling this consultant to talk about some video gaming tips, all 97 Nintendo Entertainment System games for the whole duration that they were there at the hotel. And I'm like, how the hell are they paying for this? Like, I mean, sure, say what you will. They're getting their earnings through betting, but if they got busted during their first try, then who the hell's paying for the phone bill anyway? That's just a nitpick.
I just checked, Joe. It was $1.50 per minute, $1.50 per minute back in the 80s. That was a lot.
Not a lot for 97 games, really. And you know what? I think the Nintendo consultant was enjoying the talk too with Haley, enjoying it way too much, mind you. So
Party line.
for me, despite the misguided messaging and the storytelling of them all, I'm gonna tackle this on more of a psychological way, just like these guys. Everybody handles grief differently. Okay. Everybody has their own way of dealing with loss. Okay, and this movie may not be a perfect example of that, but they did try showing it through the lens of a kid who's dealing with regret, a teenager who is dealing with guilt, from a dad who is dealing with the loss of a daughter, and trying to balance his family, or what's left with his family anyway, and a mother who's pretty much given up on the same kid who was having the same problems, and the way she deals it is different as well. The way she's dealing with her kid, so despondent, insensitive, at times giving up hope, and without realizing the core reason why everybody was acting like that. It's when the story eventually presented itself, why everybody's acting the way they are, the way they were, because of the unfortunate death of said twin sister. They didn't really. They only addressed that during in the third act of the movie. If they were able to present that in a better fashion, then everything else would have made sense, acting wise, performance wise, plot wise. Okay, but that being said, still, though, it kind of explains why they were. It kind of explains the motivation of everyone. All right, even with Haley. Okay, they didn't really mention anything more other than, oh, my mother had a problem. What problem? Casino, most likely gambling problem. That's why. That's why. That's why she was always on the move with her dad. They didn't explore that. Most likely, it also got cut. Okay, so it's if you're the person who tends to look at the nuances of the characters pathos, then sure, and then everything else video game related will come second. All right. So the video game aspects here, okay, sure, in a therapeutic way, they can help. Okay, it helps you focus, help you escape the reality, even for a second. Helps you forget your problems for a while. But once that's done, then you go back. Then you go back to then you go back to reality, handling shit on your own. And like the movie did say, as long as you got some people looking after you, then for the best, you're gonna be fine. That's, go, Miss I.
So, and I guess that's it. I know Sir Viraj has said also way earlier about his opinion on, well, his opinion that there is no message actually.
No,
And
it's a shit film. I don't know why he's like trying to draw it. Like you're trying to like take blood out of the stone here. That's what you've tried to do here, Sir John. I respect where you're trying to go with this because it does have these themes in there. They just haven't been fully fleshed out because they've cut all the scenes that would have made sense of this film. This film is, an incoherent mess, in my opinion.
Viraj, not every film has to be Citizen Kane.
Look,
Some films can just be for entertainment value.
I'm just saying it's shit because it just doesn't make sense. I'm saying it's a good family film. Jumanji, Blubber, Mrs.
Films
Doubtfire.
that don't make sense. Have you seen any art house films lately? Those don't make sense at all.
What films lately?
Art house films like The Seventh Seal or something. If you've
I'm
seen
not
that,
talking about
that shit
I'm not-
absolutely makes no sense. Whatever.
I've not seen those films. But I'm talking about
yeah.
this film. I'll change the subject here. This film is shit. Don't
Mm.
try to make it out like it's some sort of like there's some depth to this thing. It's a shit film. Don't watch it, man. Like you can watch it if you want. I
Mm.
encourage you guys to watch it in the comment section if you haven't seen it. Watch it, go on. But I don't say I didn't warn you because it's 2 hours of your life you're not going to get.
Absolutely. And Viraj's point is go watch it, make your own judgment on it. Viraj's judgment is that it's absolute crap. Our judgment is that it's a touch point in history and culture, and it's worth a view. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
To all of you, to all of the viewers, and to all of the listeners, Sir Viraj's opinion is a result of the lack of warmth and hug
Agreed.
that's supposed to be given to him by his dad, but he refused to sleep beside him.
Yeah. completely agree.
And if he just slept beside his dad in the same motel bed,
Mm-mm.
okay,
Yeah.
then maybe would have had a different reaction.
Mm-hmm. All right, Miss Eileen.
Message here: sleep beside your dad. Bonding moment.
Saying Citizen Kane was shit. I've not even seen Citizen Kane.
You've
So-
never seen Citizen Kane? Oh my goodness! How can you possibly say that you know the best parts of cinema if you haven't even seen Citizen Kane yet? Anyway, Miss
Yeah,
Eileen,
I saw the cane. I saw the cane in Citizen Kane.
Citizen King. I don't think I've seen that one. Anyway, Miss Eileen.
There was a cane in Citizen Kane.
so if anybody doesn't have anything more they wanted say or add? Maybe we could go to shameless plugs. Who wants to go
Alrighty.
first?
All
Oh,
right. That's the episode, guys. We're gonna wrap it up. Let's start with Sir JDM. Sir JDM, where can they touch your grass?
Oh,
Down south.
Absolutely. There you go. Perfect answer.
No, I mean I live down south, so
Don't even backpedal that, JDM. You did. That was a perfect answer. Anyway.
So anyway, 123 go retro. As you can see here, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and by the way, I'm doing some short reviews in a website called CyrusGaming.com. It's a local gaming review website where you could check out reviews from my colleagues from Cebu, and some of the reviewers as well are not just in Cebu but in other parts of the Philippines. So I hope you could check out my review of Eternal Strands, which is action adventure RPG game with the same vein of Breath of the Legends of Zelda Breath of the Wild, like the open world game. So I'll see you on my next streams
All
or
right.
in the next episode in this gamer.
Put the link of your review on the chat there, Sir JDM, for everybody to see. How about Sir
Thank you.
Jose? Where can they touch your grass?
Well, if you want to touch my grass, you got to come to California. But other than that, I'm on Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Dark Gothic Fate. I don't have anything going on at the moment, but that's where you can find all my stuff. Post videos, reposting Timeless Gamer videos since they're on TikTok now, unprivated. And that's it for me.
All right. Thank you for that, Sir Jose. And how about Sir Joel? Where can we touch your grass?
All right. If you want to touch my grass, you have to travel all the way to the frozen wastes of New Jersey. And you can also catch me streaming every now and then on twitch.tv under Banyaga Native and on kick.com occasionally and on Rumble. I'm trying to penetrate that platform to show the joys of retro to everybody. Hashtag FUFB right now. Again, I reiterate that hashtag, and that will be my formal hashtag going forward forever. And yeah, you guys will always find me. It's true. It's true. It's true. Okay. But yeah, you guys can always find me here on Timeless Gamer Show. I occasionally take my leave because of real life responsibilities. But yeah, you guys will almost always find me here on the Timeless Gamer Show. Back to you, Joe.
All right. Thank you for that, Sir Joel. And the daddy denier himself, Sir Viraj. Where can they touch your grass?
goodness me. Daddy deny. It's a crap film. That's the conclusion. Anyway, you can find me I'll be trading at the London Gaming Market on the 16th of March at the Royal National Hotel, so you can find me there. Those in the UK. With none of you even watch the stream anyway, so you know it's one of those things. And but you know, there's that. You can find me on the Sega Mega Masters podcast on YouTube. I've got my own Twitter account for all the pickups I get, which I buy and sell, which is at Bygone Games UK. You can find me there. You can find me on the Sega Genesis Sega Genesis group on Facebook, and you can find me here on the stream with these savages. These savages. I'm having the pleasure of having this. This is a crap film. I'm sorry, but I'm not getting. I don't know why these people are trying to find value in it. It's just crap. But anyway, back to you guys.
All right, thank you for that, Sir Viraj. And of course, how about Miss I? Where can they touch your grass?
You can come here to the Philippines and tend to the spontaneous grasses that sprouted out of our driveway. If somebody could clear that for me, I would be thankful. So touch those grass and cut them for me,
I
please.
meant that literally, guys. There's some wild grass on their yard.
Yes. Somebody cut those grasses. I ain't got no time
in the
to tend to
window
them.
there.
There's a grass over there. But my stuff, I really have. I'm touching grass, real life. So I have no. I don't have much free time to stream anyway. So you can mostly see me here on Timeless Gamers, but streaming is still. I don't have any particular schedule yet, and yes, I have a patch of grass on my driveway. It's really and when I open the gates, when I get out every day to for work, it's like the grass is actually blocking my way. I have to really step
Yank it.
really high just to avoid the grass.
You even drive. Do you even have a car? Four-wheel drive.
Yeah, my brother has a car. My brother and sister-in-law, so they park their car there. But it doesn't affect the car. But the smaller gate, it's blocking my way. But I don't care. I just step higher. I ain't got no time to touch
You,
grass.
you need to tread very carefully.
Yes, like that.
Gotten so long. Somebody hire a gardener. God damn it.
But there's just you can find me here on Timeless Gamers and my VODs on YouTube.
All right.
That's it.
Thank you for that. No innuendos here, guys. And one last thing. Okay, one last thing. If you have a box of memories that you want to treasure and you want to respect the memories of that person who that pertains to that box of memories, don't just leave it there out of the open, hoping that it will be there for as long as it will. Okay, I mean, who knows? Maybe the janitor might throw it away. Bury that shit. Okay. Well, what the fuck? I mean, Jimmy just left the canister there, out on the open, and then they just went home. Oh, maybe just Jimmy just want to say goodbye. Oh, just drop that shit. Anyway, so you can touch the grass of the Timeless Gamer Show by dropping in your comments, suggestions, remarks, angry letters at timelessgamers.show@gmail.com. You can also reach us to at the website timelessgamers.com. All right. And of course, our socials, it's all there. Just search in Timeless Gamers Show. We've already uploaded some of our reels, shorts, and clips at Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. So just Google Timeless Gamer Show. Eventually, you'll find us. Okay, it will all lead back to here. Thank you all so much, everybody. That's the show, and on behalf of Sir Dan, Sir Eric, and who else?
Sir
Oh,
Drew,
Sir
you know.
Sir Drew and Miss Hinu. She's on a trip at the moment, so have a safe trip, Miss Hinu. We'll see you back the next time you're in the show. As always, our games and our bodies might grow out of date, but our gaming experiences will forever remain. Hey,
Timeless.
Timeless.
All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. See you guys next time on the Timeless Gamer Show.
We are off to see the
Bye-bye,
wizard.
guys.
The wonderful wizard.
sleep with your daddies.